Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Tracy's Tuesday Talks. I am your hostess, Tracy Latona with Golden Rose Financial Coaching. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad you're here. And today's topic is a tough one. It is money and marriage. Now, money is attached to every single facet of our lives. Our relationships, our physical health, mental, emotional, spiritual health, somehow, somewhere, finances ties into all part of life. And what better way to look at that than through long-term commitments and through marriage? So this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart because my husband and I have done it wrong and we have done it better. So long story short, just a quick background. My husband and I were married for 7 years. We're legally divorced for 9 months. Finances, money fights was a big part of that. And then we got remarried after 9 months, and we have been remarried for almost 5 years again. So, yeah, 5 years again. Financial coach doing math. Hi. So, in the 5 years that we have changed the way that we have done finances together, it has made a huge impact and a huge change in our marriage. And I would love to share some of the things that we did wrong the first time around and some of the things that we are doing to make things so much better. So, one of the reasons why finances is such a huge issue in marriages is because there's a lot of fear around finances. A lot of the people that I talk to, they are hesitant with talking to their spouse about finances or with a coach about their money because they don't want to be told what to do. They're afraid that they're going to be controlled. And ultimately, that feeling, that fear stems from something that happened in the past, whether that be they were married to somebody before who was financially abusive or had financial infidelity, or they just had a really bad experience growing up when it came to money. Mom and dad fought about money, so they don't want to fight with their spouse, so there's avoidance. There's so many issues that can cause a lot of fear around finances in marriage. Another big thing that I see is two completely different views of money. You look at savers versus spenders. I'm talking about Rachel Cruz's Know Yourself, Know Your Money book, so I'm not plagiarizing. So nerd versus free spirit, saver versus spender. We've got scarcity and abundance mindset, just completely different thoughts and ideas about money. Money should be used for all things pleasure, or money should be used for preparing for the future, just completely different aspects that because people look at the same thing in such radically different ways, it can cause a lot of confrontation. It can cause a lot of conflict, which leads to separate finances. That's what happened with us the first time we got married. I'm speaking on my behalf. I'm the saver, my husband's a spender. There's nothing wrong with either of those. They're both good things. We balance each other out well. And we had separate finances the first time we got married because I was afraid that he was going to spend everything. And because he thought that I knew more about money, which I really didn't, he let me do what I wanted to do with my money as long as we split our bills like roommates instead of a married couple. And we just did our own thing. And that caused a lot of fights. That caused a lot of resentment. That caused a lot of division in our household because we weren't working together, because we had separate ideas, separate values, separate bank accounts. We were going in separate directions. And ultimately, that was a big part of the reason why we got divorced was because of money. Now, that wasn't the only thing, but that played a huge part of it. And a huge part of that was from different mindsets. So a lot of people are afraid to talk to their spouse about money because they don't want to cause a fight. There's avoidance, there's conflict. They don't know how to talk to their spouse about money without, I had to catch myself there, without triggering an argument And so what they do is they just shut down, they go in their own shell, and they don't talk about it. Or it's the opposite. There's constant fighting, constant conflict, constant arguing about money, constant stress, fear, and anxiety and depression. And they just can't shut up long enough to actually hear and listen to what the other one has to say. Now, that's harsh, but it's true. Remember, speaking from experience here. So, how do couples come together? How do they go from being in fear of talking about money, in fear of um, being controlled, having money being that means by which they're controlled, and how do they come together on their different views of finances? So, if you are the spouse who wants to start working together on the finances, I encourage you to take your spouse on a date night. Don't talk about money. But how do you do that? How do you talk about money without actually talking about money? Take them on a date night and have a dream team date. Talk about, hun, what do you want for our future? What do you picture our lives to be? What do you want that's different for our future that we don't have now? Is it traveling? Is it owning a boat? Is it being able to retire well and retire with dignity with options? Is it being able to pay for the kids' college, not have to worry about it? Is it being able to just go on vacation whenever you want and take frequent trips? Do you want to go to New Zealand or to Ireland or to Paris? Dream together, have the ideas, and shut your mouth and listen to what the other person has to say. You don't necessarily have to agree with them, and that's okay. This is your spouse's ideas and your spouse's vision. But I encourage you to find at least 10% out of what they say and say, you know what? I really like that idea. I love that idea of being able to travel. And that's where you get to come in. I also like the idea of being able to XYZ. So that way, once your partner, once your spouse feels heard, they are more likely to listen to you and hear you, actually hear you themselves once you have initiated genuine listening. So take your spouse on a date, have a dream team evening. Communication. Whew, that is a tough one when you're in a tough place. How do spouses communicate about money? How do they come up with ideas or means to be able to talk about money and not fight? One of the things that I do as a coach is I do a core values exercise. This helps people come into alignment with what they value, and they write out 3 things that they value. So a core value being, if this were not part of your life, something would be missing from your life or you would not be yourself. So for example, I've got clients where adventure is a core value. They love to take their kids kayaking or camping, or they love to take trips to Florida or what have you, to be able to give their kids the experience of adventure. That's one of their core values. Write down 3 personal core values, not core values for your family, not core values for what you want things to be like that aren't, but actually, what are the things that make me me? My core values, my faith, my relationship with Jesus. Another core value I have is my marriage, my relationship to my spouse. And another core value that I have is service. I love serving in the church. It would not feel right to me if I wasn't helping somebody. And that's even outside of the wonderful business that God has given me. So those are examples of core values. So when you and your husband or your spouse write down 3 core values, not looking at the other, talk about them, combine them together. In some cases, they'll be completely radically different, and that's okay. And in some places, they'll be aligned, which is okay too. Those are compasses in which to bring up the conversation about money. So, for example, if you have a spouse whose core value is being able to enjoy life and have fun, and you have a saver where that's not a huge thing for them, that saver can then understand, okay, so this is a core value of my spouse. This is where my spouse is coming from. This is why it's so important for them to set aside that vacation funds. I hope I'm making sense with this. Another thing to help with money and marriage is creating a plan. So you've had the dream team date nights. You've laid out and discussed and had fun talking about the wonderful things that you want to do with your life. You've gone through the core values exercise, figuring out, okay, who am I? Who is this person? What is so important to them that they wouldn't be them without it? And then ask the question, how do we get there? How do we get there? How do we achieve the vision? How do we align our finances with what we say our core values are? If you say that you want to be prepared for an emergency, but you're not saving, that's out of alignment. Something's not right. So creating a plan with your spouse based off of the vision and the core values exercise. And once you create that plan, the tool that you use is the budget to get there. I know I talk about budgets all the time. This financial coach won't shut up about budgets. Keeping in mind that a budget is a plan for your money. You get to tell Benjamin where to sit, where to stay. You're also tracking your expenses, knowing where each and every dollar is going. So with all of this, it can be really scary and really intimidating. And sometimes there's just some need for a third party. If there are some really deep rooted hurts that need healing, I encourage you to reach out to a marriage counselor, somebody who's licensed to help walk you through what happened and how to heal from it. If you want somebody to help you really pull that vision out, be able to help you dream together and be able to learn how to communicate and talk together, that's what a coach is for. A coach can help you with envisioning what you want for your marriage and for your money and for your future. A coach is somebody who can say, wait, wife, let your husband speak, or vice versa. This is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm hearing over here. Okay. How can we collaborate together to make this work? A lot of my coaching sessions look like counseling sessions. I am not a licensed counselor. I'm not a licensed therapist. I just rely on a lot of experience and a lot of mess ups that I've made. My friends, money and marriage go hand in hand. The number, I should say, I just did some quick research. In most articles, money is in at least the top 5 reasons, listed reasons for divorce in America. Money touches every facet of our lives, especially when it comes to marriage. And if you need help talking to your spouse about money, or if you're a couple who wants to get out of debt or have a plan for your money, or even if you are already financially well and you're just stuck and you're not quite sure, well, what do I do next? And you need some help with that vision, I would love to have a conversation with you. Please message me. I would love to set up some time with you and see how I can help. Thank you so much for joining me on Tracy's Tuesday Talks. I hope you learned a lot from it. Please like and share this video and feel free to share it with your friends as well. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.